Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, this Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I ever got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome along to Patrick Christys Tonight, late edition, breaking tonight. Well, I said tonight that one minister should go. I think maybe now it should be two. The Housing Minister, Angela Rayner, has managed to dodge £40,000 worth of stamp duty. I mean, it's just bonkers. This is in relation to her new seaside £800,000 flat. Nothing illegal's gone on. Doesn't look good, though, does it, Ange?
let's make balloon animals, bravo! Try and follow along and guess what I'm making. We'll start with the nose. Oh, that's a long nose.
I'm sure he's a normal guy. The Home Office are spending taxpayers' money on teaching illegal migrants how to make balloon animals. Yeah, seriously. Because, by the way, just on that, you know the kind of abuse that Ryland Clark's getting at the minute for saying that sometimes they get iPads? I mean, he could have just said this. And... well, it's showing no signs of calming down in Epping. That's outside the Bell Hotel. Apparently that's tonight, and protesters have been out in force. Apparently they clashed with police after someone apparently tried to break through the police lines outside the Bell Hotel.
I would love reconciliation with my family. I don't know how much longer my father has.
Well, it's on. Prince Harry and King Charles are reportedly set to meet. That's according to the Daily Mirror. Despite that interview, the one that you just heard there, he said he didn't know how long his father had left, upsetting his father, and also rumours out now that both him and Meghan are going to be in or making a documentary about Princess Diana, which, frankly, could well include allegations that she, put it this way, didn't exactly die of natural causes. Those are the rumours, so yeah, maybe that meeting's off. Anyway, here we go. Joining me this evening, we have got GB News contributor Nick Dixon, we've got former Labour Party advisor Matthew Larser, and political commentator Chloe Dobbs. Right, let's get those headlines with Tatiana.
Patrick, thank you. The top stories. The chairman of Asda has warned Rachel Reeves against a fresh tax raid in the upcoming budget as food inflation hammers shoppers. Alan Layton said if the Chancellor wanted to grow the economy, she should move away from taxing everything in some way, shape or form, he said, and instead start investing in Britain. It comes amid speculation that Ms Reeves will have to find as much as £50 billion in the autumn to repair a hole in the public finances. The Chancellor is understood to be considering extending a freeze on income tax thresholds and introducing a mansion tax on the sale of expensive properties. Ms Reeves is also reportedly looking at applying national insurance to rental payments. 3 judges are to rule on whether to overturn a temporary injunction which is set to block asylum seekers from being housed at the Bell Hotel in Epping at 2 p.m. tomorrow. The Home Office and Samani Hotels, which owns the site, are attempting to challenge a High Court judge's decision last week to issue an interim injunction to Epping Forest District Council that will stop dozens of asylum seekers from being housed at the Bell Hotel beyond the 12th of September. Police have released new details about the killer in the US Catholic school shooting, including idolising mass murderers and wanting to watch children suffer. 2 children aged 8 and 10 were killed during mass at the Catholic school in Minneapolis yesterday. 18 other people were injured, including children aged between 6 and 15 and 3 adults in their 80s. A child is still in critical condition, according to a hospital official. Police said Robin Westman, a male born as Robert Westman, opened fire with a rifle through the windows of the school's church as children sat in pews. In a news conference today, Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara said the attacker fired 116 rifle rounds into the church, saying it's very clear that this shooter had the intention to terrorise those innocent children. The UK Foreign Office has told Russia to stop the senseless killing after strikes on Kyiv kill at least 21 people, including 4 children. Russia's ambassador to the UK was summoned to the Foreign Office after the strikes. Sir Keir Starmer condemned the assault, saying Putin's killing children and civilians and sabotaging hopes of peace. US President Donald Trump says he is not happy but isn't surprised about the attack. And 4-time Tour de France winner Chris Froome has been airlifted to hospital after a crash during training. The incident took place in the south of France. The 40-year-old Brit's reportedly in a stable condition and is undergoing surgery after suffering a fracture and 5 broken ribs. And those are the latest GB News headlines for now. It's over to Patrick.
Tune into GB News Radio wherever you are, online, on DAB digital radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
Welcome along to Late Edition. Let's give you all of Friday's newspaper front pages first. We start with the Daily Mirror. Prince Harry to meet King Charles. Hopes are growing for healing of the family rift when the Duke returns to London. Lots to go out there because, like I said before, the latest rumour is that there's going to be some kind of documentary about Princess Diana that probably is not going to paint King Charles in the best light, and Prince Harry might be helping to create that documentary, so yikes. The Daily Express, French police won't go to sea to stop the boats. Yep. OK, so that's done, isn't it? The Guardian, Russian envoy summoned as UK and EU offices have been hit in Kiev. The Times, all babies to be offered chickenpox vaccination. The context here is that vaccinations are down when it comes to children more generally. Why is that, do we think? Could it be a hangover from COVID? The Daily Telegraph, Angela Rayner dodges £40,000 of stamp duty there. Again, I'm saying there's nothing illegal, they say, about it. There is a lot of confusion about this story, though. She appears to have changed her main residence from where her constituency is, National Underline, to Hove, and in the process has somehow been able to save £40,000 on stamp duty. It's not a good look. At the very least, it's not a good look. So we'll talk about that. The Independent, PM, Putin's strike on British targets sabotages peace. So there you go. There goes the peace deal. And Daily Mail, now the Asda boss tells Rachel Reeves, stop taxing everything. The Metro, they itch it's all over. It's another one about the vaccine story there. More children, well, their parents being told, you know, get jabbed. Right, let's get the thoughts of my wonderful panel. Again, we've got GB News contributor Nick Dixon, former Labour Party advisor Matthew Larser, political commentator Chloe Dobbs. OK, let's start with the Sun, and then we'll do the Telegraph. There's lessons in party skills for illegal immigrants. So we are now, Nick, teaching, apparently, balloon craft, floristry, painting and hairdressing to illegal migrants, as far as I can see.
Incredible, isn't it? It's a good thing I've retired from comedy, because this is impossible to satirise. They really have. They've just put all comedians out of business, which is lucky for me. 165. So salaries for the 4 roles plus a vocational skills tutor amount to £165,000 a year. That's almost what you get in a month, Patrick. That is...
Oh, mate, not even. I take it home in wheelbarrows, mate. But yeah, I'm worth every penny. But, I mean, this is, like you say, I mean, it's just beyond parody, isn't it, this, really, Clay?
Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely bonkers. I mean, when we heard about bouncy castle trips out, that seemed mad enough, but this is like the cherry on top of the cake. And apparently the reason why they give these migrants all this fun stuff to do is because they need to keep them occupied, because if they don't, they all roam around the town in gangs, they commit robberies and steal from the shops and look at girls inappropriately. So they've got to give them these balloon lessons to make sure.
Hang on, this could backfire actually when you think about it, because there's, you know, if there's one thing that a schoolgirl might be interested in, it could be a balloon animal.
Oh yeah, this could be a disaster.
Yeah, it's a concern.
Yeah, maybe that's a conspiracy. That's why they're learning it.
Do you think?
I don't want to say more on national TV, but...
No.
Well, you know, that's what we were always taught as kids. Like, if someone lures you with some candy or some toys, they're trying to kidnap you.
Yes.
Someone tries to lure you, like, oh, do you want this
Look at my
little sausage dog balloon?
Isn't that
maybe that's...
We used to have these public, when I was younger, with it, public information.
Oh, yes.
It was like, Charlie says, stay away from strangers. What do they say now? Charlie says, stay away from migrants with balloons. You see what I mean? It's pretty sinister. They can't make that ad, but that is what they need.
Yeah, you're right. Well, it's a little bit like how the BBC decided to articulate antisocial behaviour on the London Underground by putting up a picture of an old white man.
that white bloke listening to Nick Drake.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, gosh, I hate when you go on the tube and it's just playing Queen.
He looked like he was playing the shipping forecast.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the guy that I've ever seen with his headphones.
That's not you. That's not your usual suspect, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, I just think, oh, you look like a very Lib Dem. But yeah.
When I was on the train the other day, a bunch of teenagers, they all got in a scrap over a tin of Pringles. One wouldn't give the tin of Pringles to the other. And they started scrapping and screaming and shouting at each other over this can of Pringles.
Once you pop, you can't stop committing hate crime.
Yeah, but you see, if they'd have had a youth club, or they'd have just arrived in this country illegally from Sudan, Matthew, they would have been busy, not fighting each other for Pringles on the tube, instead making a balloon sausage dog.
Well, I think I can just imagine the reaction in the Home Office that it's got on its plate when ministers saw this today, because I very much doubt that they knew this was going on. I hope that by tomorrow these job ads will be withdrawn and this nonsense will end. You said, look, you know, in all seriousness, the youth service has been decimated. Youth clubs and support workers have gone across the country over the last 10 years, and what are we spending money on? This. Not good.
There's actually another detail in this which I must admit I've missed until now, so I'll reveal it. Painting and hairdressing tutors, as well as a gym instructor, are also wanted for the Heathrow Immigration Removal Centre, where detainees include serious criminals.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you,
I'm literally speechless.
If someone approached me on a bad day and said, hey, do you want to learn how to do a balloon animal? I'd commit a serious crime.
Nothing calms down murderers more than a little bit of balloon animaling. Sometimes they make them into quite violent shapes, but that's all part of the process.
Yeah, well, maybe that's it. They're going to find a knife somehow. This one might as well be made out of latex.
No, but at kids' birthday parties, they make swords out of these balloons. So maybe, I mean, if Sadiq Khan rolls this out across London, knife crime will go down because people, rather than going at each other with machetes, they'll just have their balloon swords.
It's just unbelievable. And it does come off the back. It does come off the back, Matthew, that. As the Sun's article does mention, but it is also on the front page at the top of the Times, which is that, you know, all of this comes after a government department, the Home Office, told the courts that asylum seekers' rights outweigh locals' concern.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, as we know, the Home Office says that these words were never said either by its ministers or its legal representatives, although they are reported by several of the papers with different outlooks.
In court.
Exactly. So, you know, they may be the better judge of that. But politically, you know, as you say, you know, the Balloon Gate, as I think it will be called by tomorrow morning, but certainly it's, you know, Children's Party Gate, isn't it? Will be, you know, just adding to the government's absolute woe over the whole, you know, illegal migrant small boats issue.
Yeah, well, we might as well, before we get on to Angela Rayner, we might as well kind of box off the migrant stuff, I suppose. There's the article in the front of the Times, which you're looking at, is at the top bit there, which is hotel migrants' rights outweigh those of locals. It's also the same headline on the Telegraph underneath a picture of Angela Rayner vaping in the sea. When you saw that headline earlier on, Nick, it's in relation to the Hotel in Epping, but really it's in relation to every single migrant hotel, because that was the precedent that case set, that you basically have to close pretty much all of them, which is why the Home Secretary's fighting it. We saw that headline there, that the Home Office's legal team are now reportedly arguing that the rights of people, illegal immigrants, outweighs the rights of locals. I mean, you can't say that.
I know. It caused me incredible rage. Now, they say it's not true, but they have the KC saying the relevant public interests in play are not equal. Now they seem to be denying it. If true, let's say, unbelievable, well, very believable, but absolutely disgusting. I mean, we have things like an Ethiopian allegedly propositioning a 14-year-old girl saying, come and marry me and come back to Kenya. But these people are obsessed with human rights, but they don't think about the right of a child to walk down the street in her own hometown and not be accosted by someone from a completely alien culture and be harassed. So it's absolutely disgusting. It's not 1950 anymore. The ECHR was started in 1950. We're told because of Article 3, magical Article 3, we have to go along with this. It was started in the post-war era for a completely different set of circumstances, and now they need to update their software and realise that it's now being used for evil.
There's also another aspect to that, which I'm glad you've mentioned it, because we kind of got lost in all of the other lunacy that's going on. But if he's from Ethiopia, why is he allegedly asking to to Kenya with him?
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's another aspect to this story. Like, is he actually Ethiopian? Yeah. I mean, yeah, we don't know. Anyway, we will probably never know, but just seems a bit odd, doesn't it? But anyway, yeah, this idea, Chloe, about a two-tier system in Britain, yeah, it's been causing all sorts of social issues, and for you know, the Home Office's legal team to basically come out and flat out say it in court is it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think their defence is really weak, and they're just desperate because they know that if the Epping case, if that hotel closes, that it's going to be chaos, and every single hotel across the country, or a lot of them, are going to end up being shut down on the same basis. One of the things I wanted to pick up on that we haven't spoken about in their defence, that I read in the arguments the lawyer was making earlier, is they say when it comes to the, you know, alleged sexual assaults and rapes, oh, it's OK because it's been investigated by the police, they're going to face justice. And I just think, if you ask the supposed victims of rape and sexual assault, oh, is it OK that it happened just because they're being put in prison? I think they'd say, I'd rather they never turned up here on a boat in the first place and I don't have to deal with the trauma of it.
OK.
Right?
Yeah, well, yeah, again, it just seemed... Yeah, that was the other big aspect to it, wasn't it, Matthew, which is that they were saying that some of these allegations, are not enough to justify the closure of a hotel.
Well, I know you're going to... I can hear the groans before they even begin saying that I'm going to try and defend the government here. One of the problems is that if the hotel closes, the government says that the migrants may end up literally homeless and sleeping on the streets in that community, which I don't think would be any more safe, indeed rather less safe than being in the hotel. So, but this is beyond the pickle for the government, for the establishment, for the state.
I mean, my concern is they end up in HMOs, but isn't it the truth that really the government can't set this precedent, because then it'll be revealed that councils have some power, there's some local power, and actually the whole thing might unravel.
And they'd have to close every hotel in an unplanned and instantaneous way, and there's literally nowhere for them to go.
Or send them back.
Yeah. I mean...
I think it would be absolute chaos if they had to close all the hotels.
Which is the fear.
But the reason why I'm behind that is I think they need that bit of chaos to actually give the Home Office the kick up the backside that they need to actually stop the boats from coming in the first place, because they realise we just can't get the accommodation quick enough to keep these people coming into the country.
We're going to just... I'll just tease the story we're coming up. We'll have a little bit of a chat about it, and then we'll do it the other side of the break as well. The Daily Telegraph front page, and it is Angela Rayner. So... it's a bit detailed, this, so what I'll do is we'll bring it up and I'll just read you the first few paragraphs. So Angela Rayner saved £40,000 of stamp duty on her new seaside flat in Hove after telling tax authorities that it was her main home. The Deputy Prime Minister is understood to have removed her name from the deeds of her house in Greater Manchester a few weeks before buying the £800,000 seaside flat. Now, the changes, which are entirely legal, enabled Ms Rayner to avoid paying 70 grand of stamp duty, which would have been applicable if Hove was her second home. Instead, she's thought to have paid 30 grand, so there's that saving of £40,000 here. The complex housing arrangements will raise questions over whether she has conducted her property affairs to pay less stamp duty. And this is where it gets quite interesting, because later on in the Telegraph article it says at the weekend, so just a few days ago, sources close to Angela Rayner said they insisted that her constituency home in Ashton-under-Lyme was her primary residence. It's very messy, this, isn't it? It's a bit one rule for me, one rule for thee.
Yeah, as you say, it's legal, but you can't help but think if someone like, I don't know, Tommy Robinson did it, he'd probably go to prison for life. But I do appreciate Angela Rayner there on the small boat on the front page trying to get some of that sweet 4-star hotel accommodation. And all those human rights, all those extra human rights that she gets.
We've given her a vape.
Yeah, she's got
and
a
a balloon. And is that a balloon animal?
She's got a balloon animal tucked under there. It's in her other hand.
She's got into floristry. Oh, gosh.
I'm sure the reason why she's got herself a swanky new pad is that she's got some more rooms to offer up to all the migrants who, if the hotel...
Oh.
She's now got 10 bedrooms in total because she's got 4 in the constituency home, 3 in her fancy Admiralty House pad by Buckingham Palace, and 3 in the new place. So loads of space for the migrants.
I mean, to be fair, she does have children and an ex-husband to accommodate in some of those bedrooms and a partner. So I mean, I'm going to be a little bit fair to her.
So there's nothing. I do want to make one thing very clear because like, every time Angela Rayner's on the front page, she just get a bit of a kick into herself. People go, oh, all it is that it's a working class girl who's done well for herself, and everyone has a go. Lowest common denominator. Da, da, da. Actually, well, like, I'm like bang in favour of anyone, you know, kicking on in life, earning a bit of money and buying whatever they want to buy with that. OK, but you know, if it's this dodging £40,000 of stamp duty, you're the housing minister, you're also like in the Labour Party, the deputy prime minister, and all of our taxes are about to go up. It's terrible.
You said I think there were 2 things. There's one, there's the political optics, to use the word that spin doctors like me, retired spin doctors like me, use. You know, clearly, if taxes are likely to go up in the budget, although not on working people. I'm just cueing the groans there. So clearly, it doesn't look great. The other issue, which actually, in terms of whether she and her advisors survive, was one thing told to the press that seems at the weekend, and a different thing has emerged today. That, I think, will be the big questions over the next 36 hours.
I agree. All right, we may well return to that, but there are a lot of other big stories in town, including this. That is British tourists sleeping on sunbeds so the Germans don't get them. We're also going to be talking about Prince Harry apparently meeting with King Charles. Well, is that still going to be on, given the fact that he's about to make a documentary about Princess Diana, apparently? Stay tuned.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, this Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
To infinity and beyond. A Scottish space company, Skyrora, is celebrating a huge milestone after it was granted a launch operator licence for one of its rockets.
Well, the licence enables the company to launch from Saxavord, which is at a real place. It's the UK's licensed vertical launch port. Oh. It's in the northernmost point of the Shetlands.
But the search is still on for a launch pad to blast off from, with none available this year.
OK. Joining us is the head of government affairs at Skyrora, Alan Thompson. So, Alan, wait a minute now. So you've got a port, but you don't have a launch pad. Is that it?
Got a licence, and there is a designated licensed spaceport, but yeah, there is no premises at this precise moment in time.
So how would you get that, mate?
We could, well, in theory, the launch vehicle that we're looking to launch, we have actually demonstrated it can be launched from a farmer's field. So we theoretically don't really need a launch pad. And for that reason, we are trying to see if there is an opportunity to negotiate with the people at Saxavord to allow us a corner of their farmer's field to allow us to undertake this launch.
Do you know, I always see, Alan, programmes and read news reports about farmers having to utilise their land in other ways to make it pay.
This is the way forward.
This could be the thing.
Well, I believe the Shetland Spaceport does actually have sheep within the perimeter fence. And yeah, it's something that we've come across a lot of engaging with nature.
GB News, the People's Channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back to Late Edition. I'm going to zone in now on the Daily Mirror's Friday front page. There's two big stories on here. The first one is a royal story, and it involves Prince Harry set to meet King Charles. There is another story that we'll do second, which is that Farage has been bashed by the bishop. Yeah, top bishop, as the Archbishop of York, who I believe is now the country's top bishop, is the best bishop in town, has said that Farage's plan about asylum seekers is beneath us as a nation. Well, it's interesting, because I was just doing a little bit of digging about the Archbishop of York in the break there, and immediately what comes up is a BBC article, calls for the Archbishop of York to resign over church failings in sex abuse scandal. So, anyway, let's deal with the royal exclusive first. Harry to meet Charles. Hopes grow for healing of family rift when Duke returns to London. It's in 19 months, a lot could go wrong. But the other news, Nick, is that Prince Harry is apparently going to do some kind of documentary about Princess Diana. The other rumours about that are that it's going to address rumours that she didn't necessarily die naturally, as it were.
Oh, wow.
Meghan Markle could be in on the thing as well with their production company and Netflix and all of that. So... not really sure what's going to happen this meet.
Well, a cynic would say Harry's just sort of desperate and, people are sort of losing interest in him, but I would never say that. I'm glad you've come to me, though, as the royal expert here.
Yeah, you are, yeah. You know about as much as all the usual royal experts, which know absolutely naff all.
Fair enough, yeah.
Apart from those who appear on GB News, who are very good.
I'm incredibly uninterested in the royal family, but, well, this lot, anyway. I mean, obviously not our beloved late Queen, but... It says the King's to meet Prince Harry for the first time in 19 months. My worry is that he'll remember what he's like. Charles will remember what Harry's like and then go, oh, this is why I didn't speak to him for a year and a half. He's really, really annoying and quite thick.
Because it's a fair point, potentially, although I imagine Prince Harry would deny that he's thick.
Is that a legal issue?
Don't know, really. We'll find out, won't we?
I need to see his IQ test.
Maybe his exam results, maybe testimony.
Yeah, well, OK, yeah, but I suppose
he was brilliant in the army. Loved him then. Loved that early work.
Yeah, we'll get bogged down in it. So let's
get out of the reeds.
What the hell?
Would you like to see some kind of reconciliation?
No, I wouldn't. When he started to separate himself from Meghan professionally a bit, I thought, oh, maybe he's starting to see the light and he's going to start behaving himself again. And then he starts talking about reconciliation. But then he goes and does that interview where he says, I don't know how long my dad has left. I mean, how dumb was that? Completely breaking the rules. And then, as you say, potentially doing this Diana documentary, throwing a whole tantrum and going to court about the fact that he can't go anywhere without armed coppers around him all the time, and then goes door knocking looking for his mate in the middle of the night. I mean, you can't make it up. I don't think he deserves this reconciliation.
Well, let's hope he was really looking for his mate. But Matthew, I mean, do you buy this? Hopes grow for a healing of a family rift.
Look, I think it may be a hope over experience in terms of the chances of a reconciliation. I mean, it seems to me it's more about the Netflix deal, which, as we know, there are only so many times that you can sprinkle things over cupcakes and expect people to watch. So the Montecito Mafia needs something to keep the money machine going.
You've been bashed by a bishop?
I haven't, no.
No, I asked that because of the other article that's on the Daily Mirror's front page, and this is top bishop, Farage's plan beneath us as a nation, and it's available online, so I'll read some of it to you. The Archbishop of York, Stephen Cottrell, told the Daily Mirror that it has long been the British way to meet those asking for help with, quotes, compassion and understanding. And he warned that send them back is not a sensible and compassionate response. So it would appear that the country's most senior bishop has come out against Nigel Farage's illegal migration plan.
I can't stand this. So you may have seen this meme. There's a picture of a bloke, and it says, you should let in more refugees because Jesus said to be compassionate in the Bible somewhere. No, I'm not a Christian, and I have nothing but contempt for your backward religious beliefs. So, yeah, the argument wouldn't work on me, but maybe if I use it on you, you'll do what I want. So that's one thing people always do. They always use Christianity. And obviously, this guy's a bit different. People always use Christianity, whether they're a Christian or not, to say you have to do my left-wing ideas. You can equally find Christian leaders who are against this and who are conservative, but it's always sort of wheeled out. And the problem is our recent Christian leaders I can't say they're not Christian, obviously that'd be absurd, but they are following the new ideology of woke, or whatever we call it, critical race theory, instead of Christianity in many cases. And also, you can, as I say, you can always find someone to say the opposite. Love thy neighbour, they say, but then about the neighbour that's the girl who's being assaulted by the migrants. It's not simple, is it, to say you can't send these people back because which is the greater evil?
I always worry with this, and by the way, I want to be consistent with this. I have been very vocal about some concerns that I have about very prominent members of the Islamic faith in Britain getting involved in politics and mobilising as maybe some kind of a coherent, quotes and quotes, like Muslim political force. So I am very sceptical about people of all religions who decide to wade into politics. And for the Archbishop of York to come out and say, we cannot simply close the door on those fleeing war. Farage's plan is beneath us as a nation. I worry that puts a lot of pressure on ordinary, well-meaning people who do attend church every Sunday or whenever they go, to feel as though they need to adhere to what one of their religious leaders is saying. I think that's a bit... I don't think you should do that.
Yeah, I think that this really tarnishes the reputation of the church. And as you say, if you are a churchgoer, you should feel welcome there regardless of your political views. And if you've got someone speaking in church sort of pushing down your throats that, you need to be kind and compassionate when it comes to the refugees, and if you say we should shut down a migrant hotel, you're not following the will of God and Jesus, it's going to be really off-putting.
There is also a very famous case of the Church of England in Liverpool.
I literally wrote that down. No, I was going to say the same thing, Patrick. No, I mean, the Archbishop, who is currently, because we don't have an Archbishop of Canterbury, so the number 2, the Archbishop of York, is currently the number 1 bishop, is utterly tone deaf, because it's one thing to say that your moral compass, as he would claim, finds some of the language uncomfortable, and wants to remind us that there are people genuinely who's seeking refuge, but the sort of tone deafness when the church itself has ended up, as it was in Liverpool, where the guy who tried to drive a car into the hospital.
Swalmean was his surname.
And he had been. The Home Office tried to get rid of him, but so some well-meaning church people spoke out for him, claimed he converted to Christianity. Turned out he hadn't.
Well, Abdul-Azidi also blagged his way, saying that it wasn't the Church of England. I think it was some kind of Baptist denomination, but that he'd managed to con them, despite having committed a sex offence in Britain and being denied asylum 3 times. That he was now a God-fearing churchgoer. Had a Muslim funeral out of interest, so there you go. But anyway, and then doused a woman and a child with acid in the streets. So again, there is also a little irony here. I can't help it. I would love to see the data on the religion of the vast majority of illegal migrants coming into Britain. I'm not convinced it's majority Christian. So again, is the head, or some kind of de facto head of the Church of England, just being a little bit silly here again?
Yeah, of course they're silly. They've been silly for a long time because the church follows the prevailing ideology of the ruling elite, which at the moment has been whatever we call this thing, woke, progressive, liberal managerialism, whatever you want to call it. That's what they've followed. I don't agree that Christian leaders shouldn't get involved, but they should be Christian. That's what I ask.
Yeah.
Not political in the sense of not just following the latest political trends. If they were truly Christian and made the case, but I just don't. I think they've lost all credibility. Personally.
Remember, of course, he has a seat in the House of Lords and he can vote on all the issues around asylum and migration bills.
It's one of the things that did for Welby towards the end, though. That I mean, ultimately, from memory, there were issues about him being a little bit tone deaf and about historic child abuse. Not
his handling of it.
His handling, yeah, very clear to say his handling of it. So actually, in a sense, probably could have phrased better in that. But anyway, but there are also serious question marks over the Archbishop of York's handling. I mean, this is the same stuff. I mean, when it emerged that he was possibly the next in line, I mean, the BBC did a huge article about it, did it at the time? Calls for Archbishop of York to resign over church failings in a sex abuse case. And you just think, Again, it's a credibility.
Get your own house in order
first.
first.
Get your own house in order.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of people who say that.
Yeah, and I think that they've tried to do a lot to regain their credibility after the whole sex abuse scandal in the church. They don't need to now tarnish their credibility by becoming all political all of a sudden.
Well, quite. I mean, by the way, as I was just being slightly critical of the Archbishop of York there, I nearly fell off my chair. I was going, sorry, everybody. Something...
Have you ever personally been bashed by a bishop, Patrick?
Only at certain parties. Right, so we are going to break now, and when we come back, we've got the Asda boss has told Rachel Reeves to stop taxing everything. So there's that. I think we might do that. There's also some kind of bit of mystery here about what's going on when it comes to vaccinations for children, or lack of. Why are children not being vaccinated? Stay tuned.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. As we head into tomorrow, it's going to be a wet and possibly thundery start across southern parts, then another day of sunny spells and showers, but these could be heavy at times with hail and thunder, and it's all thanks to low pressure dominating our weather, sweeping in showers and also frontal systems, particularly this one in the south and southwest, which will push in a heavy band of rain skirting its way eastwards across southern parts of England and Wales through the overnight period. This likely to turn heavy and thundery, particularly as we head our way towards dawn. Otherwise turning mostly dry across central and eastern parts of England, but still plenty of showers feeding into the far northwest. Where we see any clear skies though, it should feel a little cooler and a fresher start to the day. Heavy outbreaks of rain across parts of Sussex and Kent, eventually pushing northeastwards into parts of East Anglia. Once again, this could turn quite gusty, if not quite thundery at times, potentially leading to some disruption to travel. Across eastern areas, it should be mostly dry, but we've still got plenty of showers pushing into the west, where once again they could turn heavy with some hail, possible thunder too. The far northeast of Scotland should be mostly dry and bright, but across the Northern Isles, plenty of low cloud and once again a risk of some showery outbreaks. Any heavy outbreaks of rain across the southeast eventually pushing away as they move their way northeastwards, and dry and bright for a time across eastern parts of England before once again more showers feeding in from the west. These likely once again to be heavy and thundery and quite gusty if you do catch any heavy downpours. Temperatures fairly similar, highs reaching around 21 to 22 degrees Celsius. The start of the weekend should be mostly dry and bright for many of us, but I'm afraid it's not going to last. Low pressure pushing in from the west, so we'll start to see more and more clouds start to spill in, along with heavy outbreaks of rain. By the end of the day, just starting to push in to eastern parts of the country. Not only this, though, those winds are certainly going to strengthen, particularly around western coasts. And the unsettled theme continues for Sunday and into next week. Bye-bye.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Late Edition. We're going to look at the Daily Mail's front page now, and there is still their relentless obsession with weight loss jabs. Don't worry, we won't talk about that. What we will talk about is that the Asda boss has told Rachel Reeves to stop taxing everything. Amid frenzied speculation on the new budget raids, a rebuke that will strike a chord with millions. Rachel Reeves was last night urged on the front of the Daily Mail, there we go, to stop taxing everything by the boss of one of Britain's biggest supermarkets. I'm just having a look to see whether or not it says that, yeah, he's a retail veteran. And he has basically said that it's driving up prices in the process. There's no doubt all of this is hitting the pockets of the consumer, and when that happens, that's not good for anybody. So, yeah, there we go. What do you make? Do you think he's got a point?
So this comes off the back of when Keir Starmer put out a video to try and disguise the looming tax rises in the autumn budget and say the budget is going to be all about living standards. And then you had Tesco and John Lewis come out and say, hang on, food prices have a huge impact on living standards and we keep having to put them up because of all the taxes. And now Asda have clearly done the same. So it's just all the credibility of Starmer's little snippet video he's put out is just completely lost.
Well, that is interesting because I think he was backed by the boss of Iceland in the in the run-up to the
He was a Tory convert.
I thought you were going to say ISIS, though.
No, well, yeah, no, he's just defending...
I once fainted in the Iceland test kitchen on a school trip.
The what?
What happened?
I was all right after 5 minutes. Fresh air,
You
D-side.
strike me as much of a fainter.
I'm not normally. That was one of the... I've only done it twice in my life, and once was in the Iceland kitchen. I'm not going to tell you where the other one was.
OK. What do you make of the tax situation?
Well, she's just in such a hole. She wants to tax everything. I mean, she wants to tax national insurance on landlords. It came out the other day.
Yeah.
I just thought if you go out with, like, Rachel Reeves for a drink, she'd be like, what's the tax on that? You know, you can't take her anywhere without her thinking, like, can I tax? She's rinsing every last drop from the British economy. And I just think it's just desperate.
Can I add a note of cynicism here? You know how in the Brexit years, everything was blamed on Brexit. The weather, you know, it was always terrible day, always Brexit. It's all Brexit's fault.
What about you guys doing that?
Asda, which is struggling at the moment, partly due to the amount of debt piled on it by its new owners, and its market share has been slipping. It's rather in search of an excuse, and I think that this may be praying the meme of Rachel's tax rises in aid.
Think Rachel's doing a cracking job?
I think she's doing a good job in the circumstances, and the economy's got to grow if the government's going to be re-elected.
Do you do what Keir Starmer does every 2 seconds?
She's a friend of mine.
Oh, we had the fastest growth in the G7 in the first quarter. Meanwhile, we had, 2 months of negative economic growth. We're hearing we may have to go to the IMF begging for a bailout.
Oh, only cynics are saying that.
Any little statistic he can get, fastest growth in the G7 in the first quarter, he just keeps on saying that over and over again. I mean, Keir Starmer, he sat in front of the liaison committee. This is the same day that he sat there and said there are plenty of homes to put the migrants in. And he said that the growing unemployment is a sign of positive economic news because the jobs market is so good because of the growing economy that everyone's quitting their jobs to look for a new one.
Wow. But Torsten's now in charge of the...
Genuinely said this, but it wasn't in the news much because everyone was talking about the housing comment, which was even more outrageous. But it was insane what he said.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
It's a hell of a time in it to be pro-Labour. You've got to defend the migrant situation, the insane levels of legal immigration, the budget, the economy that's about to completely crash. You're doing an incredible job, but it's almost impossible.
It's a tough gig, but somebody's got to do it.
Keir Starmer's approval rating -8 billion.
I hope mine's higher.
OK. Yeah, I think it probably is. OK, so it's not just the front pages here on Late Edition. We have a little look at some of the stories that are going on inside the newspapers. Brace yourselves. Charity Citizen Zoo is organising Big Gay Beaver Day, a fundraising event on September the 6th at Paradise Fields in Ealing, which is in London. The event aims to celebrate beavers, urban ecology and the queer community as an LGBTQ+-led project. So I'm just going to read that again. There is a zoo in Ealing which is celebrating Big Gay Beaver Day, and they have amalgamated both beavers, urban ecology, and queer people.
Queer is the trendy word for LGBTQ now. It's been reclaimed by the community, not uncontroversially, but just so because obviously it used to be a term of abuse.
Yeah. So what
has beaver been reclaimed?
Well, one of the things is in the gay community, a bear and otter have particular meanings. A bear being a sort of chap with quite a lot of hair, maybe slightly larger, and otter being a slightly younger version. A jock. You know, with your football, your football.
That's not an animal. I thought they were all animals.
No, they're not all animals, no.
You didn't want to say what the one he really is.
What am I? Like a llama? What's that?
Is he like a newt or something?
Is this event meant to be celebrating gay beavers in any way, or they just decided we need to do an event for beavers and we need to do an event for queer people, so we're just going to do them on the same day?
Get into with the price of one.
My friend did his.
But a gay bear night is nothing to do with grizzly bears. So just in case any viewers get confused, you don't end up in the wrong
I have a
place.
friend who did his entire master's thesis about homosexual crickets. He does biology, and he did his whole master's thesis.
Which university was that? Of interest?
I'm just googling what animal he is.
He did the masters at St Andrews, I think.
He did the masters at St Andrews.
Where Prince William went.
The university's really gone downhill, hasn't it?
Sorry, I'm just furiously googling what this is. This can't be true.
Homophobic to the cricket.
Rewild. No, it is. This
really
is seriously.
important
It is. It's not.
No, I mean, I know people who do PhDs in queer ecology.
It's a rewilding charity called Citizen Zoo, and they are genuinely organising a big gay beaver day, and.
What's your objection, Patrick?
They've reintroduced London's first urban beavers, right? So there's an actual like David Attenborough style hook here, and they've just randomly decided to make it LGBTQ+. I don't see what the point. Why? It's like what next? Is it big gay beavers for Palestine?
I mean, undoubtedly, but I mean, you know, as Chloe was saying, there are lots of people who have studied and look at the queer elements of the natural world, which have been neglected. There's a little
big gay beavers of Palestine, and your job is like, how do I spin this?
There's a little book available from the Natural History Museum on the queer natural world,
supported by the Mayor of London.
Is it actually?
It's the new Mate campaign.
Maybe the beavers will do a protest every Saturday, and they'll have big, I
might go.
Gay queevers. Gay queevers.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go and bring you a report.
Do a report, and they've got to do a vox pop.
It's got a drag performance by someone called Barry Poppins.
Patrick, come on. I'll buy you a ticket.
But yeah, you know what?
You should go down there.
You got a date.
I would go. All right, brilliant. What we're fair. Okay, right.
They all work in the migrant camps, so it'll be hard hitting.
I only got the last half of that. I don't think I want necessarily. Okay, all right. Stay tuned for more of whatever this is, but also, why don't we do the Metro's front page when we come back? Why are fewer children getting vaccinated? Stay tuned.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GBNews Travel Destinations Forecast.
Whilst across many areas around the Mediterranean, it's looking largely fine as we go through tomorrow. There is some heavy, thundery rain affecting some central parts. That all developed over parts of northern Spain and southern France and has then made its way east-northeastwards to affect parts of northern Italy through today and tomorrow into the Western Balkans by the end of the week. Otherwise, a lot of fine weather to be had away from those thundery downpours affecting some places. See you later.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GBNews Travel Destinations Forecast.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, this Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
no,
Because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Me. Okay. Coming up now on Late Edition. Sorry, everyone, not really with it. End of the day. Anyway, let's deal with what's on the front of the Metro. They've gone for they think it's all over, and basically people are not getting their kids vaccinated. So no childhood vaccine in England has hit its 95% uptake target. Is this a hangover from COVID?
Obviously, I mean, people are so sceptical now of vaccines for very good reason. We were forced to have one. I mean, some of us didn't take it, but, you know, some of us are legends. But the point is, the whole nation was forced to take it under all sorts of duress. People forget now, people like saying, oh, you shouldn't be able to have jobs, you should have vaccine passports. It was a pretty disturbing time. It took incredible integrity and courage not to take it. So, of course, people are sceptical, and it's caused all sorts of problems in families, and people have divorced over it. I know people who that's happened to. So, yeah. I'm sure this is a result of that. I have no data on that, obviously, on my claim, but I'm claiming that it must be. It must be. Yeah, but by the way, chickenpox. Why do you need a vaccine for chickenpox? We just used to get it when I was young. I didn't get it as a kid. I got it when I was 17.
Really?
And, yeah.
Oh, no.
And, yeah, and the only problem was I wanted to go and watch The Phantom Menace. I'm making myself sound old now, but I had it when I was 17, because most people get it when they're a young kid, right?
Yeah.
I deliberately gave myself chickenpox to get out of activity week, weirdly.
Seriously?
Yeah.
How did you find someone with chickenpox? Do we not want to know?
No, I didn't. I just sort of willed myself to get ill and accidentally got chickenpox. Okay. Anyway, weird story, isn't it? But anyway, this is definitely post-COVID. I regret that story, but I'm sticking with my point about COVID.
You know what? You do you, mate. I mean, what, is this someone who's...
Oh, you've gone all woke on us. You do you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. What do you think about this? Is this just parental rights, and people feel as though they're being over-medicated, and that we may not be told everything about potential side effects of medication, or actually is it irresponsible?
I do think it's irresponsible not to give your kids vaccines that have been properly tested, where it's really... vaccines are super important. They were a great invention. But people with the COVID vaccine quite rightly thought this is an experimental drug. But now some people have decided to apply that to all vaccines. Now, my worry here is what they are doing is they're adding a new chickenpox vaccination into the MMR vaccine. Yeah. So what I'm thinking is people who would ordinarily give their kids the MMR vaccine because they're like, that's tried and tested for ages, are going to think, oh, there's something new and experimental added into it.
I'm not sure whether it's going to be added into the formula or given at the same time. It's a bit unclear in the story.
My only thing is, I'm sort of largely sort of sceptical about some of these vaccines, but we've got so many people coming from all sorts of areas in the world now. Maybe we have so many new illnesses. Maybe we do need something. You know, like scurvy's back and syphilis.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
And polio and all that.
The reason why I'm pausing it is I'm really hoping we might be able to play you that clip of the sunbed wars that's taking place. Yeah, we will do. So, hey, we all know what it's like when you're on holiday and you're there and you want to have a sunbed, but the Germans turn up, and that means that really it becomes a problem. Here's the clip. So what are we looking at there, Matthew? Because it's Brits sleeping on some
Yes,
beds
it appears that in a desperate attempt to ensure they get first dibs on the sunbed and to beat the classic alleged German technique of getting up at 6 a.m. You know, what's one better? To stay up all night and to turn the sunbed into your home. What about sunbeds for to be deployed when the bell's closed at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon?
How do you think?
I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, but this is it, because the Germans think we've got the Brits. We'll get up earlier, but what the Brits will do is we'll outdrink you all night and stay up.
Yeah, exactly.
Have that.
Exactly. We've beaten the Germans before, and we'll do it again, by God, with this kind of stubbornness.
It's a Brexit bonus.
This is a Brexit dividend, isn't it? But would you ever do anything like? Because the other part of me thinks it defeats the point of a holiday because you've paid for a room.
I would. I used to with my friends. We'd go clubbing, and it was a competition who can stay up until 6 a.m. Greggs.
Nice.
And we get very competitive. It was doing an all-nighter is fun.
Yeah.
So I think an all-nighter on a sunbed, as long as it's warm enough, and you're not being eaten to death by too many mosquitoes.
Obviously, if you fall asleep and the sun comes out, you can die.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cheerful.
Just thought I'd end on that. I'm not a comedian anymore. I'm a serious commentator.
Yeah, cool, clearly.
Podcast with GB News legend.
I feel like I should warn the nation.
Well, absolutely, yeah. I mean, after the tirade about vaccines, I mean, it's the least you could do. OK.
Don't take them.
Right.
Sorry,
don't.
Do take a few. Take a few.
Take
whatever. OK. Right. OK. Breakfast is up next. Assuming we're still on air. And yeah, there's loads to go. Angela Rayner potentially dodging the 40 grand stamp duty. There's also illegal migrants being taught how to do balloon animals and loads more. So stay tuned. Take care.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to your GB News weather update from the Met Office. As we head into tomorrow, it's going to be a wet and possibly thundery start across southern parts, then another day of sunny spells and showers, but these could be heavy at times with hail and thunder, and it's all thanks to low pressure dominating our weather, sweeping in showers and also frontal systems, particularly this one in the south and southwest, which will push in a heavy band of rain skirting its way eastwards across southern parts of England and Wales through the overnight period. This likely to turn heavy and thundery, particularly as we head our way towards dawn. Otherwise turning mostly dry across central and eastern parts of England, but still plenty of showers feeding into the far northwest. Where we see any clear skies though, it should feel a little cooler and a fresher start to the day. Heavy outbreaks of rain across parts of Sussex and Kent, eventually pushing northeastwards into parts of East Anglia. Once again, this could turn quite gusty, if not quite thundery at times, potentially leading to some disruption to travel. Across eastern areas, it should be mostly dry, but we've still got plenty of showers pushing into the west, where once again they could turn heavy with some hail, possible thunder too. The far northeast of Scotland should be mostly dry and bright, but across the Northern Isles, plenty of low cloud, and once again a risk of some showery outbreaks. Any heavy outbreaks of rain across the southeast eventually pushing away as they move their way northeastwards, and dry and bright for a time across eastern parts of England before once again more showers feeding in from the west. These likely once again to be heavy and thundery and quite gusty if you do catch any heavy downpours. Temperatures fairly similar, highs reaching around 21 to 22 degrees Celsius. The start of the weekend should be mostly dry and bright for many of us, but I'm afraid it's not going to last. Low pressure pushing in from the west, so we'll start to see more and more clouds start to spill in, along with heavy outbreaks of rain. By the end of the day, just starting to push in to eastern parts of the country. Not only this, though, those winds are certainly going to strengthen, particularly around western coasts. And the unsettled theme continues for Sunday and into next week. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
It's the final week to see how you could win your mortgage or rent paid for a whole year. That's a cash lump sum equivalent to 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, right up to a whopping £20,000. Plus, we'll add an extra £5,000 on top for good measure. Make sure you don't miss out as lines close on the 29th of August. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.co.uk. gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is